Mr. Soul Studies teacher. How you guys doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing well. I see a lot of you walking the halls. Thank you, Mr. Crump. Mr. Crump and I are going to be your team today. He's going to be my AV guy. Everyone needs a good hype man and AV man. Mr. Crump. You guys are very fortunate, Mr. Crump here. I've worked with him over the years at South Park High School, other places. He's been to our Soul Studies conferences and conventions and trainings. So what you have here is Civic Readiness for grades 5 through 8. And you guys are 5th graders, right?
Yeah. No, what is wrong with you?
Champion, all right. What grade are you? 7th or 8th grader?
They're 8.
8th, perfect. I was going to say 8th, but you never know it. You don't want to assume anything. So here's what's going on. State Ed, and I'm sorry, Mr. Malucci, because I like to walk around. And is this on?
Yes, on. I hear you perfect.
Perfect. All right, so I like to walk around and kind of move around so I'm not nervous. That's what I do when I'm in the classroom. I just put a lot of miles on. So what we got here is this. We have a Civic Readiness for all students, grades 5 through 8. State Ed has come up with this new program to get students in social studies classrooms and all classrooms more involved in their community. Does anybody do anything in their community? Volunteer, go to a church group, do anything? I see you raising your hand. What are you doing? What do you got? What do you do to volunteer or give back to your community?
Like the other day, we made a community garden.
Beautiful. And I was going to actually use that because one of the schools I work with a lot, they do community gardens. Where's the community garden at? Is it around here or is it in your neighborhood? Perfect. And you live in this area? Kind of. Plant trees in Elmwood. Okay, and that's kind of where you live in that area?
Yeah.
Okay, so all this work you're doing, are people documenting this work? Are you working with adults in the community to kind of say, hey, I'm doing this or we're doing this? Who's organizing this? How do you, is this something you want to do yourself or is it something you work with a bigger effort, a bigger coalition? How's that working for you? How did you decide to do trees and plant trees? Your mom did it? Okay. Plant in the community garden. Who helped you do it? Who made you do it? Okay. So this is giving you some ideas of what to do. Now, here's the great thing. Those things that you're doing, and we can document those, you can actually earn a seal on your diploma when you graduate in 4 more years from high school. So a seal. So what happens is this: you'll get a diploma, and you walk across the stage. You guys do graduation here. You do it in another building. You do it here. I love doing graduations in the school. When I taught at Gore Cleveland for 15 years, our auditorium was a little too small. This auditorium is very nice, so we had to take our graduation and put it in a local theater down the street from us. And the reason why I hated doing that is because I had to take all the caps, all the gowns, all the diplomas in the back of my truck to there and then take it back. When it's here, I have to do later. So I'm kind of being lazy when I say like having school graduations. Selfish. But it's great. So when you walk across the stage, your diploma, some of your diplomas, if you do these hours and do these courses that we're going to talk about here momentarily, you're going to get a little seal that says you have now achieved a Civic Readiness endorsement on your diploma. There's only 2 schools right now in Buffalo doing that. They're pilot schools. It's Grover Cleveland High School, International Prep at Grover, and Hutch Tech High School. Your school will be doing it next year, so you'll be getting those community service hours, service learning hours. And I'm going to ask you about what community service and service learning is. I'm going to ask you that in a little bit, okay? They're different. They may appear to be the same, but they are different. So, Mr. Crump, could you fire up the computer and put up the Civic, just do a quick Google search with NICEAD Civic Readiness. That should be what pops up. That's my theme song, by the way. All right, so let's read this little yellow box in the upper right-hand corner. Read that real quick for yourself. I'm going to have someone read it out loud for us to kind of reinforce it for us. So top right corner yellow box. All right, anybody want to read that out for us?
Me.
Go ahead, sir.
Civic readiness is the ability to make a positive difference in the life of our community through the combination of civic knowledge, skills, and actions, mindsets, and experiences.
Okay, so you played a community garden. Did that fit in this reading? That was an action you took, right? Planting trees, that was an action, right? Everyone in right now in this classroom is doing something, an action, to be civic ready. What are you doing? You're in a classroom studying what? Social studies or history? So by doing that, by being a part of this classroom and actively participating in this classroom, you are already working towards this. All right, so State Ed has created a website for the Civic Readiness Initiative. And this was brought to my attention through the Social Studies Council. Just before you got here, myself, I'm the president of the Western New York region. There's 8 Western New York counties, and I was just on a Zoom meeting with the president of all of New York State Social Studies Council. We're talking some business about what's going on here and how I can help them at the state level. And Mr. Crump is also a member of the regional council, or regional membership here. So we have like these meetings where all of us, you know, fancy teachers get together and talk about this cool social studies stuff. Because it was cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you left, but I hope you left. All right. So the Civic Readiness Initiative, the State Board of Regents is committed to civic education empowers all students, that's us, to make informed decisions for the public good as members of a culturally diverse, democratic society and independent world. What does that mean? It means we all have a reason in this classroom more than just looking at the assignments Mr. Crump gives us. It's to be good citizens, to help our community, to help one another. You think we can do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you pull this up for me just a little bit more? Thank you, sir. All right. Can you go up a little bit farther? Yeah, all right. So click on that one right there for me. See what it says? Yep. And if you move that up for me. Yeah, move, there we go. All right. So what's going to happen is this. This school is going to apply to be part of this for next year. We had, like I said, we had 2 schools in this area doing. There was only 100 out of, I forgot how many hundreds of schools that did it, maybe even thousands of high schools in the state of New York. So only 100 that did the pilot program this year. This pilot was supposed to happen in 2019 or 2020-21 school year. But you know what happened, right? So we couldn't do it then. So what wound up happening was this. They pushed everything back 2 years. The pilot program got pushed back 2 years. The wide open program is going to be pushed back to this year. So you're in a great spot. You're going to be freshmen next year, correct? So you'll be starting the first year that it is open. You're going to have a lot of time to meet all of these criteria, which we're going to see here momentarily. So civic readiness is 4 things, as it says on the first page. What are the 4 things? Who can tell me what the 4 things are? Look at it real quick, and I'm going to just call you off and just tell me what it is. Tell me what are the 4 components for civic readiness. Anybody know one? What you got?
Civic knowledge.
Civic knowledge, yes. That's how you understand how the Bill of Rights protects freedom of speech. The 3 branches of government, judicial, legislative, and executive. Discuss how the Constitution represents both democratic and Republican ideals. And then finally, the voting process by which and why it is important to vote. You're not of that age yet, but you will be able to vote. All right, who has another, or who can tell me, identify from this sheet, another civic readiness piece? Yes, go ahead. Civic mindset. Ooh, I see a lot of that. I hear a lot of that mindset, growth mindset. I hear a lot of mindset. What does the word mindset mean to you? At a young age, what does mindset mean to you?
The set of your mind.
The set of your mind. I love when people give me a definition. What the definition is. That's great. So what does it mean, your mind? What do you do with your mind? You think. Think about what? Things. Slowly pulling this out, slowly, but it's okay. So you think about things related to school, related not to school? Not to school. Okay. Yeah, I didn't do that. 12, 13, 14, 11. I don't know. I usually teach high school. I teach high school. See? You got me. Good. All right. So you think about things outside of school. But when you're in school and asked to think about things in school, what do you think about school in social studies? Give me one thing you think about social studies. One thing you know about social studies.
I know where Alabama is.
Okay. Without looking at it? I just want to peek at it real quick.
I know what Florida is if I'm looking at it.
Okay, so let me do this. So we just mentioned here in the civic knowledge piece, right? There's the 3 branches of government. Who is the head of the executive branch of government? Nope. Who's the head of the executive branch? Think about it, man. Who do we elect every 4 years? The president. So the president is the head of the executive branch. There'll be a quiz on that later. We'll get you ready.
I gotta get a quiz.
All right, so the civic mindset, actively participate with others respectfully. We were actively participating, and we were respectful, right? Yes, very good. So did we promote democratic ideas? Yeah, we were just talking about the executive branch and who's the head of it. And we all interacted. You didn't know the answer, you were kind of, maybe this or this. You helped out. Thank you very much. And now, we are active citizens within our schools, communities, willing to contribute and help solve issues locally or nationally. Again, going back to the gardens and the trees. And I'm glad that people were doing that here, because if not, I was going to have to kind of just say people did, but you actually are doing that, and you're walking the walk as well as talking the talk. So there's 2 more left. It seems like we are on the right side of the columns here. So what are the other 2 that are left? Who wants to tell me what they are? Go ahead, sir. Redeem yourself in my eyes.
Civic experiences.
Civic experiences, thank you so much. So we're going to complete a capstone project. There's a middle school capstone project, and there's a high school capstone project. I'm actually going to see the high school capstone projects from the pilot schools a week from Thursday. And during the day, I'll be going to schools, 2 schools, to look at those projects. And at night, we're going to be actually doing an event for teachers in the West New York region to talk about this for next year. Yes?
What a capstone project.
Okay, I'm glad someone asked that, because I'm going to answer that question in probably 4 minutes up here when we talk about the capstone benefits. I'm glad someone said that, because a lot of times people just hear the word, they don't understand it, and I was going to get into it more, so I'm glad you asked that question. We're participating in negotiating and compromising in the resolution and differences in conflict. Most times when you have a conflict or you have a dispute, you have to talk it out. That's the right way to do it. That's how adults do it. Volunteering and participating in community organizations, which I see people are doing here in this classroom already. Finally, the last one is civic actions, civic skills. So we're looking at different current events, and Mr. Crump and I were talking about that. This class, you may talk about current events sometimes with Mr. Crump. I know you have talked about that with your class, especially when you're doing a social studies class. Current events always seems to be that where it falls into. You know, what's going on in the world always seems to kind of fall in our laps, which is okay. We're going to identify a problem in the school or local government and help determine how we can change this. Does anybody know what the official New York State snack is?
Chips.
It actually happened about 7 years ago. There's actually an official New York State snack. I'm going to give you 4 options, and you tell me which one you think it is. I heard carrots, so I'll go with carrots for 1. Potato chips is another one. Another one of carrots. Potato chips. Yogurt. Or Kit Kat bars. What's the official snack?
Yogurt.
Is that obvious?
Yeah.
Okay. Why is it yogurt though? It's healthy, okay, delicious, okay. Does New York State make a lot of yogurt?
Yes.
Yes, they do. And you know who determined or helped determine that it was going to be the official state snack? A 4th grade class in New York State. A teacher did a project with her students in the 4th grade and petitioned the state legislature to say, hey, we need a state snack, we don't have one. We have a state flower, we have a state motto, we have a state everything. State bird.
Yeah.
It is. It's got the confirmation. Yes, it is a bluebird, yes. I need one of those little light pieces that you did in the edges. It's a good question. I don't know, but maybe Snapple, because that's made in New York, so isn't it? I don't know. Is there a state drink? I'm not sure. But if there is, we can find out. And if not, maybe we can petition the state legislature to make one.
Milk.
Is it milk?
Milk.
Milk makes sense because milk with the dairy, yeah, it makes sense.
Don't nobody drink milk.
What happens if you're lactose intolerant? You know, then what do? You don't partake? Loganberry, I like that idea. Who came, was that you? Was that Loganberry? I like that idea. That'd be good. All right, so now that we're going to be going to high school in a few short weeks, you know, it's not too far away. Let's take a look at what is going to be required of you when you go to high school. So you're taking 4 social studies classes in high school.
What?
4 social studies classes.
Oh, different years.
Different years, not all at once. If you did all at once, that would be a lot. All right, so Global 9 is going to be your first, whoa.
It's a butterfly.
Is that a moth or butterfly?
It's a butterfly. Jalen.
I think I opened my wallet up earlier, some wall probably flew out, so we're good. All right, so you're going to have 4 social studies classes required for graduation. The Global 9, which is early world history. Global 10, which is more modern world history. And when I say modern, I mean after 1750. So that's kind of more of a moderate time.
Will we learn about the Roaring Twenties?
You will learn about the Roaring Twenties in grade 11, probably about this time of year.
We're learning about it right now.
We are learning about it now.
And we're not, I don't know what we call these 20s. These definitely aren't roaring. They're definitely, they might be boring, but not roaring. And then when you go to 12th grade, you're going to take 1 course or 1 year of study that's going to be divided up into 2 year or 2 half semester or 2 semester courses. So half a year you're taking econ, the other half of the year you're taking participation in government, or vice versa, depending on which school you go to. If you stay here, I don't know how they do it here, but every school has it where they maybe do participation in government first because it's election season, and then econ in the spring. That's how I did it when I did it at Grover Cleveland. I'm getting the confirmation from my producer that is yes. Thank you so much.
Learning about government.
So you'll be learning about government, but taking 20 weeks to learn about that, kind of replicating what you do in a college course. And that's why that is in the senior year, because like you're getting ready for this, getting ready to high school from here, you're getting ready from high school to go to college. So they replicate that course. So pull me up just a little bit. So this is right up to the very top. Put down a little bit. All right. So you're going to obtain a course credit in Global 1 or Global History 1, grade 9. Global History 2, grade 10. U.S. History course, studying about the Roaring Twenties, not the Roaring Twenties. And then the Participation in Government Economics course, your senior year. Now, I know this is Olmsted. I know you'd like to do a lot of AP courses here because I know your teachers that work on that, Mr. Rosaros, Ms. Soborowski, I know some of your teachers who do that. So there may be a way to learn other things as well, the AP World, the AP US. All right, so up a little bit far with that. So we're going to get a blessing for this. So you're going to have a master, you're going to pass these exams in global and or U.S. history. There's 2 exams when you get to high school. Global 10 and U.S. history. So you're going to have a proficiency or mastery at those levels. Now, one more on this, because this chart's a little bit weird to see, and you don't need to see it just yet. You're going to see it when you get to high school, but we're showing it to you now. Demonstrates proficiency in some of these AP courses, whether AP or IB. IB do not have here. That's the City Honors International Baccalaureate. I taught IB Econ for a few years. And then there's also AP courses, advanced placement courses. And those will get you college-bearing credit if you score well enough. Going on a little bit farther, let's look at the research project. There'll be a research project. And that can be where we come in with the capstone. That is now getting back to your answer, the capstone. There is going to be a project in which you can research, something that you want to learn more about. Now, it does not benefit you if I come in here and say, hey, I want you to study this, 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 and this. I want to give you the topic to research. It does not benefit you. It doesn't benefit you if Mr. Crump does it, or Mr. Malucci does it, or if the principal comes and says, I want you to do the project. The project has to be something you're interested in. Why does that have to be that way? Why should it be something you're interested in? What are you interested in? What do you like to do?
I like to listen to music.
Okay. So what kind of music do you like to listen to? Let me see, I think you're probably more looking at country music. Oh, really? I think you might be like a First Batman fan now. You like hip hop? Okay. So if you're going to do a research project talking about hip hop, what would be, if that was going to be your topic, then we're going to bring a capsule ready. What would you want to know about hip hop and music and maybe participation in government, or maybe how it works in government, how it works in society? Is there something you can think of? Is there a song? Is there a person, you know, that you can think of, like, hey, this person has been active doing this in music, but now is active doing this in the government? Is there something like that you can think of? There is. Not off the top of your head, but if you did some research, which this research project would say, you could do that. Mr. Crump, you got something for us?
I got something for you. How about social justice contributions of people in hip hop?
Ooh, I like that. So now we have your like of music, your love of music, and we now have taken that into a project in which you will learn more about what you already like, love, right? And then I'll apply it to what Mr. Crump or whomever in high school is teaching about. Is that kind of a cool idea? Take something you already like and already know a little bit about, and then say, hey, I can use this in my classroom. That's making that connection. And that's what we need to do. Yes?
Do you like or love sleep?
Like or love what? Sleep, okay. I'm sure there's a way to do it. I don't know off the top of my head, but I'm sure we can help you look into that.
Do you practice on cardiology?
Yeah, even though it's a science, more related to science, but definitely do that. You can talk about how that affects people that study cardiology and what they will do with build a house in a matter of a week on the west side of Buffalo. Tell me about it.
How big was the house?
1,500 square feet.
So they broke our house and they built
They
it.
took it down, and then they, from the foundation up, rebuilt it in a week. They worked on it 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's probably like 8 days, and they did a big reveal. Yes. Yes, it's right by Ketchum. You been there? Yeah, it's, Ketchum's like 2 streets over. It's at 14th in York and Normal. It's like on a big block. So we were taking our students down that week, and we did not, because we were right by the location where we were doing this. So we did a few things that week. We did a food drive, a huge food drive. We had our kids helping out in the neighborhood, raking up leaves. We're a 5 through 12 school, college board school, kind of like you're a 5 through 12 school here. So our students that week got a lot of community service hours. So most of the kids that were coming up from grades 5 all the way through 12, I did not have to worry about community service with them for many, many years because they were able to have it documented. We are working on a form that your teachers will then receive to help you document these hours. And we'll have an outside agency help document our documents and do the bookkeeping of this. So it's going to be very easy. It's not like, oh, I got to now take care of something else. We're going to help you do that. We're still in the process of getting that kind of figured out. So we'll go up just a little bit farther. So the Middlestone Capstone Project, we're not going to do that because we're going to be doing a high school project. But the Middlestone Capstone Project would be 1 point. And we anticipate kids doing that in starting next year, 7th and 8th graders, we'll be talking about them. So we're going to complete a capstone project that includes essential items listed below. Identify a local issue. Is there an issue in the city of Buffalo? Is there an issue in your neighborhood? Is there something where you live that you need to fix and remedy? We're going to apply, again, these same things. Civic knowledge, civic actions, civic skills, civic mindset, and civic experiences. These 4 that make up civic readiness. We're going to apply those 4 components, those ideals, those principles, whatever you want to call them, and we're going to present an overall project to the Middlestone Capstone Committee. But you won't have to do that because you're going to do it at the high school committee. And that's going to be us. That's 4 points, that capstone project in high school, which you'll be doing. You're going to do the same thing, but a little bit more depth and detail. There might be something in your neighborhood that you want to fix. I know I drive around the city a lot, and I'm always seeing potholes. Maybe there's potholes, maybe there's something in your neighborhood, maybe there's a park that's overgrown in your neighborhood. Maybe there is a rundown building in your neighborhood. Maybe there is something going on that you want to redo. There's a plant a community garden, plant some trees. Maybe there's something you want to do or your friends want to do, or your family wants to do. This is your chance to do that and talk about that and make that capstone project. You'll make a presentation to a committee of people and say what you learned, what you did, why it was important. That's what that capstone project is. And I say the best for last with that, because that right there is not only a chance for you to show your community pride, your civic pride, but it's also a chance for you to show your teachers and the state of education in New York that you will do something in your neighborhood. And I think that's the last part of that grid, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So you can get points again. You need 6 points, but certain points have to come from one side, so many points have to come from the other side. Don't worry about that just yet, because we'll worry about that when we get to high school. Any questions on what the Seal of Civic Readiness is? Any questions on what you'll be doing in high school? Because I can help you out with that. Because I'll be going to high schools later this afternoon again. No questions for me? No questions, okay. Usually I get 1 or 2 questions. Usually it's why involved, mister. That's the question I get. But no, okay, good. That's what I get, you know. All right, so with that being done, Mr. Crump, I'll let you take over. And you have anything?
So, Mr. Pyszczek,
Yes, sir.
An example of a capstone project be a mural.
Yeah, it could be.
Say a location, a wall that students participated in and identified a theme.
Yes.
Right.
Do you know the one I think I know what you're talking about on West Ferry?
No, I was just.
There is one on West Ferry across from Performing Arts High School. It's West Ferry goes to East Ferry, so it's actually East Ferry right there. There's a corridor of all prominent African Americans in West New York and Buffalo. Yeah, it's right across the street from the Performing Arts School. Yes, right there, East Ferry, like Maine.
Okay.
And students there kind of help pick out who. This is well before this was even a conception.
Right.
So the students help pick out who were the important people that they want to recognize in that wall.
But something like that would be great to document because you could have before and after, right, and have pictures of the process, right, before, middle,
Yeah.
the end.
And now, not only are you doing something in social studies by looking at people who had an impact in society, but you're now also including the art program, the visual arts program. There's a lot there to digest, for sure. And there's that, remember, whatever project we're doing has to have that what? Service learning component to it, right? That reflection of why are we doing this? What are we learning about what we're doing? So that's where we're going to be at with that, for sure. And there's a lot of pride. I mean, here's something you do very simple. You do stuff that's very complex. And again, like I said, a 4th grade classroom in Central New York was able to get yogurt as the official snack for the state of New York, just by getting involved. And that kind of thinking that you wouldn't think so, what you do in your classroom would have an impact in every aspect of the state, every part of the state. It's kind of crazy that we can have that kind of impact.
I have a question. How might this work out with school hours, right? So if you're in school during school hours, might you be afforded time away from school to work on this project, your civic readiness project?
That's going to be something designed that school committee, the civic school committee, the school civic readiness committee, they'll be the ones determining that. So every school's going to kind of have their own autonomy to figure out how that works. You know, it's usually going to be a social studies teacher, a school counselor, and one of the administrators will be usually making up that committee. And we're going to have a committee at the central level, you know, for the district. Myself, Mr. Brandy, probably one of the school board members will be on it, talking about that, and you know, I'm assuming an assistant superintendent or social superintendent will be also on it as well. You know, but we haven't really designed any of that stuff yet because we really haven't gone full bore with this yet, because it's just been a pilot. We've been working at it, seeing how it works, and they're going to take what they have learned at these schools. There's 2 in Buffalo. There's, I think, 2 in West Seneca, Niagara Falls High School. I think maybe Kenton might have one as well. So they're going to kind of meet over the summertime and say, this worked well, this didn't work well, we can do this, we can do that. And then we're gonna have the Civic Summit on May 19th, where we're gonna have the teachers yeah, I saw you signed up, thank you. Where we're gonna be talking with that, and we're hoping to get more administrators and more Buffalo school people there as well. Right now, we have great representation from all parts of Western New York with that, the suburban schools, because again, this is a new proposition. This is something new. You're gonna be at the ground floor of this. All right, you've been at the ground floor 2 years ago, but just doing the middle school stuff. We're beyond middle school now. Now we're getting ready to do the high school stuff, and that's gonna be an important piece.
So when students graduate, for instance, the students this year, they will have essentially a Regents diploma in social
Correct.
studies?
There'll be students at the International Preparatory Global School and Hutchinson Central Technical High School that are gonna have an endorsement on their diploma that's gonna say they have met the seal of civic readiness components to it, correct? And there are some schools that have, I think what we are doing, we're putting a decal or a logo on the diploma. Other schools are doing a sash, I've heard. Other schools may be getting like a medallion that you can wear. So every school district is doing something different. But there is one, everyone has to meet these requirements, no matter what school you go to in the state of New York. Either this year or beyond, you're gonna have to meet all these requirements we outlined here today.
How does this benefit students in terms of entry into college?
Great question. So, not everyone's gonna get the seal of civic readiness. But the students that do will have a leg up on getting into a college. That'll be something that you put on your resume. And I'll tell you this, and I know I'm getting off topic here with you, but when you get into high school, your focus will be your first days of high school, just trying to, how do I survive? But you're not going to a new school. That's the good thing about you, is most of you stay in the school, so you don't have to worry about learning in school. So you're gonna have a leg up on other people because you'll be able to focus on your college and your plan after college, or plan after high school into college. So the many opportunities or many things you can do outside of the classroom, it's great. I tell the story about a kid who I had over at International Prep at Grover. He graduated 2016. I was at City Honors then. When he graduated, he got a full scholarship to Canisius. Books, room and board, everything, because he was active in a lot of after-school activities. He was in sports. He was working with History Day program. He was doing everything. He wound up coming out of college with no debt, and he got a master's degree. He got an MBA in accounting. So he got an MBA. I'm sorry, he got an MBA with an accounting focus. MBA, not MBA. I had one of my old students go to the MBA though, but he wasn't as smart as this guy. He was still smart kid though. So he was able to get his master's of business administration from Canisius, everything paid for, because he was active in the school community and in the Grace Academy. So,
The bell's gonna ring. Let's thank Mr. Pyszczek.
Very good.
Thank you very much. Good job. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Rick.